And now we will share a video submitted by two very talented choreographers. The Bridge is a vibrant new collaboration between artistic director John Malashock and Tristian Griffin, the artistic director of Tristian Griffin Dance Company in Kansas City, Missouri. The piece addresses the very polarized world we are living in and seeks to find a solution. Enjoy. Wow, that was beautiful. Well, now it is my pleasure to welcome the two choreographers responsible for this piece. John Malashock brings 35 years of experience in dance, theater, and film to his current endeavors as artistic director of Malashock Dance and the Malashock Dance School, during which time he has created and choreographed 70 works, dance, theater collaborations, theater and opera productions, and award-winning dance films. Under his leadership, Malashock Dance has grown to become one of California's premier dance companies, and his work has now been presented throughout the United States, Central America, Japan, Central Europe. Among his many accomplishments, Malashock has performed in benefit concerts with Mikhail Baryshnikov and garnered 4 Emmy Awards for his dance films, which have aired in over 30 affiliate PBS stations nationwide. A leader with the local and national dance communities, Malashock currently serves on the board of trustees for Dance USA and is proud to have taken the leadership role in conceiving, developing, and establishing Dance Place San Diego at Liberty Station. Tristian Griffin, a native of Kansas City, Missouri, graduated from Texas Christian University in 2014, receiving his BFA in ballet with an English minor. Following graduation, he joined the Garth Fagan Dance Company for 3 years. He has performed with the Metropolitan Opera House, the Lyric Opera House of Kansas City, Company E, and many others. Aside from dancing professionally, he has also taught classes for M's Spotlight, HALO, Helping Art Liberate Orphans Foundation, and Kansas City's Friends of Alvin Ailey for underprivileged children at several of Kansas City's community centers. While freelancing, Tristian discovered his passion for choreography and decided to start his own dance company, now known as the Tristian Griffin Dance Company. The company has been commissioned by the American Jazz Museum in Kansas City, the International Dance Festival in Philadelphia, Kansas City Ballet School, and WHCDC. He was selected as tenure for the Charlotte Street Foundation and Friends of Alvin Ailey Artist in Residency Program. John Malashock and Tristian Griffin, welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, of course. So I was lucky enough to watch the full production of this piece. And let me just say, wow, thank you for doing this. I have so many questions, okay? We just saw a little 10-minute snippet of it, but the whole piece is actually about 40 minutes long. So that's a huge endeavor to take on during a pandemic. And it's it was a bi-coastal collaboration. Did the choreography happen via Zoom?
No,
how did you guys get together to put this together?
This was all done in person. We know a lot of people have dealt with trying to choreograph via Zoom. We're all tired of Zoom. So it was done in both locations. I flew to Kansas City in April for a week and worked with Tristian and a group of his dancers. And then Tristian and one of his dancers came out here and spent 3 weeks finishing the piece and performing it.
Wow. Yeah. So Tristian, I want to ask you this question, because this piece deals very, very directly with these very, very divergent belief systems that we've now grown into in America. And I'd love to kind of get your take on, what is that wisdom that you pulled from this past year, and how did you apply it to this piece? Or what do you think is the solution for bringing us all together?
Yeah, John and I essentially agree that when creating the bridge, or even as a director creator, you're not coming up with the answer to a solution. You're really providing the question in order to facilitate people to think and to come up with a solution for themselves versus providing what the steps should be. So for the bridge, we were showing the process of what it takes, or what it could take to come together, to see it from the other side. And for me personally, though, it was more so like what the lesson I learned was, in order to really understand another perspective, you must understand your own. And so for me, throughout this year, a lot of time for reflection. You know, there's moments, or actually a huge chunk of time where I had no work, and even couldn't go out. And so you utilize that time for meditation or for reflection or prayer, whatever, you know, you see fit for yourself. I ended up realizing that in order for me to actually give my perspective clearly, or to understand someone else's perspective clearly, I have to understand and come to peace with my perspective. And that's kind of like the base to really coming together, you know, is understanding your own perspective.
One of the things that really moved me in the piece is the coming together and then the breaking apart and then coming together. Like there were these moments where you're like, okay, it's happening, and then you get sort of pulled back, and that's what seems to keep happening, is like we have some progress, and then, you know, we keep getting pulled back, and then we have progress and we keep getting pulled back. But at the end, you know, and I also loved sort of the visual of the neutrality in the costuming too, that was you know, sort of emphasized all these beautiful shades of color that we all are. And so there was a lot of symbolism involved in it that really moved me. I want to share this quote from Archbishop Desmond Tutu from the Book of Joy. He says, we are wired to be caring for the other and generous to one another. We shrivel when we are not able to interact. That is part of the reason why solitary confinement is such a horrendous punishment. We depend on the other in order for us to be fully who we are. This is the concept of Ubuntu. A person is a person through other persons. How did it feel to have one of your first in-person performances with a live audience?
Well, when you talk about the subject of joy, I mean, the joy of just being back in the studio with a group of dancers who've been deprived of it, you know, mostly for, you know, more than a year. It really caused kind of the explosion of movement that we created for this project. And it really did feel like an explosion in the best possible sense. And, you know, as you were hinting earlier, you know, through art, you don't have to play by the same rules as the real world. I mean, it is our real world. You know, but we have a much greater chance to find a kind of unity, of coming together through art than we do through politics, quite honestly. And that's a great relief to us.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the themes of the night is like sacred rituals, right? It's called Generations and Sacred Rituals. And, you know, we've been talking about the generations of, you know, institutional racism that have, you know, affected us all. And this is sort of the reckoning that we're living through, of how to come to terms with that and how to take us to a new direction, right? We have the legacy that we've inherited, right? We have the legacy that we're actively living in and transforming. And then we have the legacy that we will leave to our future generations. When we're talking about sacred rituals, though, so I'm an actor, I'm a theater person, and there are sacred rituals that happen before a performance in theater. Does that exist in dance? Do you all have sacred rituals? And what were they? Were they different this time around?
People have personal rituals in dance. Everybody goes through their own stages of preparing for a performance. You know, whether it's the alone time in the mirror putting makeup on, whether it's a certain routine of exercises you do as part of warming up. So there's definitely a sense of ritual to get ready for performance. Tristian, I don't know if your experience is different with this.
I know that for me, I like, especially in a piece like this where the narrative is so strong, I don't believe in faking. When you're faking, you're lying. And I don't want to lie to anyone. I try to be honest, but when it comes to preparing to really make the narrative true, you have to really make the ensemble cohesive. And so before each performance for the bridge specifically, we came together and just had a moment, if it was talking about the piece or just joking around, or if it was just literally silence and just taking inhales and exhales together, but making sure that we're cohesive as a unit, so that when it came to demonstrating the narrative, it actually was genuine and authentic versus artificial and just us performing steps. It was really about staying true to the narrative and the storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a huge ensemble. I mean, for a pandemic era performance, and congratulations on that. I have a personal question for you all about your personal sacred rituals. What is something that you do regularly that brings you joy and represents your true essence, something that carries a lot of meaning for you and makes you feel like your truest self?
I know for me, one of those things is travel and being in nature, oftentimes combined together. But that sense of gaining a bigger perspective, the sort of letting go of the daily things that weigh on us, being somewhere else, interacting with people, probably, for the first and only time. There's something in that for me is really, really joyful.
Yeah.
And I think, when I do have a chance to really spend time out in nature, that's probably when I feel most like myself.
Yeah, I'm the same. Nature's really, really important to me too. It brings me back to just to be alone with my own mind, my own thoughts. Tristian, is that the question you? I sent you all a couple of questions, so
yeah.
Can I ask you the same question?
Absolutely, I would love to answer. For me, I'm really a habit person. Like I have a habit of reading. Like that's what I minored in at TCU. I minored in English, so I'm really about studying literature and the Shakespeare's and all that. And then also cooking. I'm really passionate about cooking and just like diving into food and different tastes. And John showed me the whole food culture, cuisine in San Diego, just some of the best food.
You're welcome.
Right. Because let me tell you, it was like, I literally want to go back for the food. But no, it's like one of those things that for me takes my mind off of dance, but still relative to art, because I think food cuisine and literature is a form of art, or forms of art. So it's still relative ballpark area, but it's not touching on dance specifically. So that's kind of like my getaway to recuperate.
Oh, Tristian, speaking your language, Susanna.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yes.
I know. The culinary world here in San Diego is exceptional. It really is something to be proud of. And actually, you should stick around because one of our other presenters is the San Diego Shakespeare Society, and they will be having. Should I tell you? It's kind of a secret. Please. Stick around. It's gonna get good, I promise. So thank you both so much for joining us. I want to ask one last question. What would you like, if there's one thing that you would want people to take away from this piece that we just watched, what is that message?
Oh, I think for me, it's possibility. I mean, I know the state of the world. I know how difficult things are. I know how polarized things are, but there becomes a personal choice of possibility of whether you're brought down by that, whether you're weighed down by it, or whether you find a way to transcend it and be positive in your life rather than just depressed.
For me, I think it's more so just understanding that we are able to come together as a community more through similarities than differences, and respecting those differences, but also being aware of like who you are as a person, and that can bring us together versus drawing us apart and dividing us apart. So yeah, that's me what I really want people to take away from the bridge.
Yeah. I think it's very easy to see that, definitely. I think you definitely delivered on your message, both of you. Congratulations on a wonderful production. So proud of this piece, and thank you for letting it be a tiny piece of our production as well.
Yes.
We really appreciate you.
And if I can say one last thing, it's sort of related to the generation theme. I think it was such a growing experience, both for me and for Tristian, working side by side on the creation of something, being, so much from different generations, and how exciting that was, how motivating for both of us it was.
Absolutely.
There's no way this work would have happened if either of us was trying to create it alone.
Nope.
Right.
Definitely not.
Right. I mean, there's something really beautiful about that, and I think that's what we're really trying to get to. Is that what are we learning from past generations? From the people generations away from us, either generations older or generations younger. I'm learning
Absolutely.
a lot from this new young generation. I mean, I really am. It's fascinating to see, and I think about my children, and I think about what they're going to inherit in that world. If what I've lived through has taken us this far, I can't imagine what they're going to get to live through. But I do see hope. I think there is a place for cautious optimism. We're not Pollyannas here. We know the state of the world, but at the same time, you have to live in hope. You have to. That's the only way to change. And also you have to live in acceptance. Like, this is the current situation that we're living in. Now, how do we address it? If we're living in a fake world of, imaginary truths and all these things, you can't even address the problem. How do you get there, right? So I think you all have taken a great first step in that. I so appreciate this piece, and it needs to be seen a lot and often. So thank you again for all the wonderful work you do. I can't wait to meet you, Tristian, in person, and John, you too. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I look forward to seeing you again too.
Thank you, guys. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you for having us.